walking you through the tips and tricks which are in Payday. So I have six topics over here. The first one is messaging for pay slips. Maybe you want to put a message on someone else's pay slip. And then there's the second one, it's switch currency in the earnings and the deductions. The third one is how to refresh. And then the fourth one, it is activation of gross up. And then the fifth one, it is restoring. And then the sixth one is leave days in coinage. Right. So I'm going to share with you my screen so that we can work together on how to do the tricks and tips in Payday. Let me just put up my screen for Payday. Right. Right, I'm going to log into Payday. Right. Okay, let me do that again. Okay, everyone can see my screen, right? Right? So we're in Payday at the moment. So the first trick is how to put a message for someone, maybe they're about to retire or it's a specific person that you want to put a message for, maybe just to remind them that you have taken a loan or your loan is ending, or maybe your retirement dates are near or something like that. Any message that you want to put through. So there are two ways. It's either you want to put a message for an individual or you want to put a message for everyone. Maybe it's a shutdown just to remind someone that the shutdown is going to be on this date, or the opening date for maybe for the start of year is this date, right? So I'm going to start with the individual. All right. I'm going to start with maybe with the group message. So here's where you go. You go where it says, just hold on, right? You go where it says reports over here and then you go where it says reports comments, right? Over here where it says payslip message, that's where you can change your message for the company. It's for the group, right? So here you can just put maybe you're closing down on or maybe an Africa Day message. You say on the 25th is going to be a holiday, 25th of May is a holiday, right? So you're telling everyone that 25th of May, they're not going to come to work. It's a holiday. This is where you can put up a message, or maybe just a friendly gesture or a message for Africa Day or anything. That's where you can put it through over there, right? And then you close it, right? If we process our pay slips over here, and then you just run a draft, maybe I can just put in the date of today, and then we run a draft. We're in which period here? Okay, we're in April. So we are running a draft so that you can see that the message is popped up to everyone's payslip so that they can see there's a message for them to say 25th of May is a holiday. All right, we go to the pay slips, reports, my reports, and then we go to current schedules over here. And then we pick whether it's the A2 pay slips or the A4 pay slips. It will still come up with the same message, right? Maybe we can pick the USD currency. We say employee or whichever you pick up. All right, just hold. Let me check for another person. There's only one person. Okay, let me say all. Oh, we are still in input mode. All right, sorry it's taking long to open or preview. Let me just stop it. Right, so our payslip has opened. Right below over there, the payslip over there, you can see it has written that 25th May is a holiday. So for each and every individual, it has written that. So for everyone, that's a group message just to tell everyone there's something or to give them a message on a payslip. So that's how you do it. You go where it says reports, and then you go where it says reports comments, and then you put on your message and then you update. Since it's taking too long, there's no need for me to scroll or to keep on giving you a picture of other pay slips. Taking longer than expected. Right, let us just close this. Right, so when you want to put in all right, let us move to the second tip, what do you call it? Tip and tricks. We're going to move on to switch currency. All right, this one right here. Let's say you are 100% Zig payroll, but it's just for this month. You are not liquid in terms of Zig, but you want to give people USDs. So here is what you do. Since your payroll is already Zig, or it's in USD, whichever it is, but you want to pay someone in the other currency. This can only happen to those who are putting in an exchange rate in their payroll, right? And then that's when the switch currency will work, because it cannot work when you are 1:1. When I mean 1:1, it means maybe you are 100% USD. So there is no need for you to put an exchange rate. So even if you say switch currency, it will go to the Zig and then it will put the exact amount which was in USD to put it into the Zig amount. So it will not work because there is no exchange rate in your system. So here's where you go. You go where it says maintenance, and then you go where it says batch inputs menu over here, and then you pick up the batch input over here, right? So we want to switch currency on these Zig's amounts which are over here. Or maybe you can just pick up another code which was not used. Maybe you can just say commission. Right. Commission is blank. It's just for this amount, for this month per se. So we were giving, let's say, a 2,000 Zig to everyone as commission, right? This is what it was there, or which we were the amount which they were being given all along. But this month we are not liquid in terms of Zig. So what do? We go here where it says switch currency over here. So according to the exchange rate, which is there in our system over here, it is 28, right? So if we say, maybe if we take a calculator to say, 2,000 Zig divided by 28 as our exchange rate, it must give us some US dollars of 41.42, or rounded up to be 41.43, right? So if we switch currency over here to say we want to switch it to be the other currency, it would give you a notice to say, do you wish to switch or convert currency for all records? You click yes over here. So according to our calculator over here, we got 41.4285, blah, blah, blah. But if we round it off, it will give us 41.43. This is exactly what it gave us over here. So you go over here, you switch up the currency, it will give you 41.43. And then we say update. So for this month, everyone is going to get a commission of 41.43 as USD, not as Zig for this month, right? Maybe that's what your payroll, that's what you were given for this month, and that's what you want to work with. It can even work the other way around. Let's say maybe we want to put it back to Zig. We will just go over here to be switch currency, and then it will give you the same message. You say yes, it's going to give you 2,000 Zig. Don't mind the, what do you call it, the cents, but I just want to give you the, what do you call it, the hint of what you are doing over here, right? So this is how you can switch the currency if you want to give your employees commission or whatever, what you are giving them in the other currency instead of the currency that you were giving them. Instead of punching it one by one or exporting or even importing, you can just do it this way. The next month, you can just switch it back to be where how it was, right? So this is how you do it. So this is our second tip and tricks. We are going to the third one, which is how to refresh. Right. So maybe you had, let's say our exchange rate right now is 28, right? but we were giving individuals something like overtime. Let us go on the first person who is Joe Black. Maybe we gave him overtime of hours, right? By 1.5, and the currency maybe is in USD, and then we gave him 20 hours. He worked overtime of 20 hours over here. We punch it in. All right, it's because Joe Black doesn't have any basic. Sorry about that. Let me look for someone else, right? Shepard Nzo, we're on overtime. And then we go over here. And then we give them overtime 1.5, which is in USD, right? And then we give them 20 hours. It has given us the amount over here, right? As you can see over here, in Forex, it's $53.33, right? But sometimes maybe it was the wrong figure, but you figured out that it needs a refreshing or something like that. So we go to overtime over here on the batch input. Maybe it has given us the wrong amount, like some of the queries that we get to say, okay, the type is hours, sorry. Right, 53.33, right. So we have done this, we have given Zoe Shepherd an overtime of 20, right? But sometimes maybe by importing, sometimes it doesn't, or it hasn't captured the right thing, right? Maybe you have gone out of this batch input and then you put in a new exchange rate over here to say 26.3, maybe 4132, the exchange rate for the day before yesterday. We say yes, over here, yes, right? And then on the overtime, you say no. Or maybe you have said yes, but it didn't refresh on the overtime, right? Sorry that my laptop is taking a while, but this time it was quick. We go on the maintenance, batch input, and then we go on the batch input menu, right? We pick up the overtime code, and then we pick up the hours, and then we pick up the USD, the currency. You can see over here that it has corrected itself, but sometimes it doesn't do that. For some, maybe there is a glitch or something that has happened. So in order for us to refresh something, we go into the calculator over here, we put in a 1. Maybe it didn't capture the exchange rate or change anything. And then we times it. We are just refreshing. We are trying to refresh what was there, but by processing with the new exchange rate or with the new things that we have put in through. So you just put in a 1 in the calculator, and then it will ask you, do you wish to multiply by 1? So in mathematics, you just know if you multiply 20 by 1, it will give you 20. But we're just trying to refresh what is already there. You say yes, over here, you see what it has done. It has gone back. So sometimes that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to refresh what was already there. So this time it has gone back, but that's not what we want. So that's how sometimes you can refresh your things. So we need to go back, and then we put in the new exchange rate over here, and then we just say, okay, over here. So you can refresh by multiplying by 1. If it didn't take it into consideration what you have done, we go back to the batch input over here, right? We pick up the code, which is 020. We pick up the type, which is hours. And then we pick up the currency, which is USD. And then we can try to see. This time it has picked up the right thing. But the moment sometimes you try to refresh or something, it will give you, it maybe didn't refresh itself like this. It gave up the same amount, which was 53 point something. But the moment you times by 1, it will give you the correct amount, which is 65.95. Right. So this is how you can refresh something. You just times it by 1, and then you say, you times it by 1, and then you update, right? So that's how you refresh. That's our tip and tricks for number 3 over here. Right. We are going to go on the tip number 4, which is activation of grossing up. So maybe your database hasn't been grossed up before, but you have been told that on the commission that we are supposed to receive, or on the basic, we have decided that we need to gross it up. The employer is going to pay something on behalf of the employee, or maybe it's a new allowance that has come in, but your database hasn't been grossed up before. So where do we go? We go here where it says utilities over here. We go where it says system defaults, right? And then we go where it says reserved codes over here. This database was already grossed up, but where do you check that it is already grossed up, or you need to activate it? You go on your right tabs, which over there, you go where it says gross up right here. So here it says this has been activated, but sometimes you find there is no tick like this one. So let me do an example. So if we remove the tick like this, and then we say apply, right? So you get a code to say, I need to gross up my code, Nyasha. It is the basic over here. So we need to gross up the basic. So here is where you go to gross it up. So where it says gross up code. So even if you try to pick up a code over here, it's grayed out. So that's how you know that it is not activated, right? So here's what we need to do. We go out, and then we go back here where it says utilities, system defaults, and we pick up where it's the heading code, reserved codes, and then we go back here where it says gross up, activate question mark. You put a tick over here, and then you say apply, right? So the moment you apply and you have put in a tick, you go back to the codes, you go on the end and descriptions over here, you go back here where it says basic pay. So the moment we go back here, if we try to down drop to pick up a code, now it's working because we have activated the grossing up of this database or the system. So this is how you know that your database has been grossed up or it hasn't been grossed up. If you see here, it is grayed out and you cannot down drop. Your database hasn't been grossed up before. So you need to go to utilities. You go where it says system defaults, and then you go where it says reserved codes, and then you activate over here. You put in a tick, and then you apply. That's how you gross up, right? So if it is, you can down drop, it means your database was grossed up or was activated before. So that's how you can activate the grossing up, right? This is our tip and tricks number 4, right? We are moving on to tip and tricks number 5, right? So when you are trying to restoring, you don't restore inside of PayDay. I know some of us use this one, this file restore database. You cannot restore something while the PayDay is open. We need to go back out of PayDay, and then we restore outside of PayDay, right? So the first thing that we do, after every input that we have done, we need, not every input, but you know that maybe you're not confident, or you're just trying out something, or maybe you were given a task to say, Nyasha, you need to run our commission to see, all right, not say commission, or maybe to say, we want to give people COLA for the first time, but we want to see how it will work out if you were to process it. You are not doing the main run, but it's a dummy run. So you need to take a backup first. You go where it says file over here. You take a backup over here. You say draft, and then you say BC over here, or whatever that you name it as. You take a backup. All right, it's giving me an error to say there's no space. Okay, all right. Which backup can we wake up with? Okay, let me try to go to the File Explorer. Which one? April. All right. Maybe you can try to work with these two from March, right? Let me minimize this one. So maybe you've taken a backup and then you have closed payday. Home screen. All right, just hold on. Right. So we are going to pick up this payday shortcut over here. Since we said we are going to work with the March backups, so when you want to restore, you go where it says here, restore, this tab over here. When you're about to log in, there are 4 little tabs over here on your right, below payday over there. It says restore over there. You pick it up, right? So usually when you do backups, the last ones go to the bottom of all of these, right? So these are all of your backups. As you can see on the left over here, it is saying backup. These are the current backups which are on your laptop, or whether your desktop or your system, right? And these ones are from the previous years, 2023, this is 2024, and this is 2025. But for 2026, we are using this one, and these are the open ones over here. So the moment you switch to 2023, you see over here it is blank. It's trying to tell us that for 2023 it's blank. And then if you go for 2024, it's also blank. 2025, there is something. So these are the backups that we have over here. So we are working with this one. This means this is 2026, right? So we are going to work with the March ones. So if you want to restore now, you go, you pick it up. As you can see over here, it's written the name of the database. Maybe you have different databases with you. So it will give you the name and the date and the time it was formed. So you double click over here where it says training draft 01. Over here, it's saying the database is present. Okay. If you click over here, okay, let us try the first one. Right. So it's saying backup info, database name, training, backup date 04/03/2026, and the time it was formed. Right. You just click OK over here, and then you go where it says begin. it will give you this tab, which will ask you to proceed with database restore. You say yes, and then you click it. It's processing. All right, it has taken long. That's why it's giving me this error. Let me try again to see if this time it will be quick. Is there something else we can close? I'm trying to close unnecessary things that I don't want. Maybe it would be fast. Right, I'll try again. Okay, seems like I'm not winning. Let me try the other option. So there are two ways to do restoring. You go, or you can also use this option which is saying backup restore over here. There are two icons on your screen. There is PayDay. You can use the PayDay login. So if it didn't give me that error, it could have said backup restored successfully. And then you go into PayDay. You can do what you want, or you want to extract data from previous years or the P6 from previous years. That's how you do it. But now I'm going to use the second option. Let's hope it won't give me another error to say it took long. It could be that my laptop is full, right? So here it is highlighted. So the difference is that with this option, it doesn't give you the date or the time it was formed. It will just try and to restore the backup that you have chosen, right? And then you go here, you say restore. Right. Seems like I'm experiencing the same error because my laptop is almost full. But if you have done this, it would have said restore successful. And then if you go back into PayDay from this portal, from this tab, you would have gone into PayDay and you try to extract things from previous years or whichever the database that you have selected. So I'm going to go back in. Right. Perhaps. Right. I'm back into PayDay. Sorry on the restoring. It wasn't giving us a successful error because I was My laptop is almost full, but we are going to move on to the sixth tip and trick, which is leave days and leave coinage, right? So when it comes to leave days and leave coinage, sometimes people try to calculate seal or whether it's leave days that they've calculated manually and try to compare with what came up in payday. It's not adding up or it's not matching. So here's the reason being. I'm going to put up two tabs over here. You go to the employee master file, and then we're going to go to the payrolls over here, and then we go to the payrolls. So over here, sometimes the system uses these working days, which are 22 over here, to calculate the seal. But if you calculate manually, maybe it's using 26 or 30 or whatever, and it's not adding up to what you have. So here's what you need to go and check. You go where it says utilities over here. You go where it says system defaults, right? And then you go where it says leave and coinage. So this is a very good example, right? If we put this on the other side, and then you try to bring this one up, you can see here it's saying the working days are 22, but we are using the calendar of 30. So this is the setting which sometimes makes you not to have the correct figures. When you calculate seal manual and you have something in payday. So here it's using 30, 22 over here, the working days, because when it comes to the formula for cash in lieu of leave, it's saying the basic, which someone earns, divided by the, what do you call it, the leave days, what do you call it, the days one works, right, times the number of days that they are trying to sell. So sometimes you're working with the days of 22, but on the leave coinage over here, it's saying 30. So it won't add up. So sometimes you just need to go and check if you're using the calendar, if it's tying up with over here, the working days and the calendar which you have, right? So if you want it to be the same, you go here and then you correct it so that it can be 22, the same with here, the leave days which are being worked, and then you say apply. Or if you don't want it to use this calendar of 22 or anything that it has to do with the leave coinage, you just deactivate this tick to say you don't want to use the calendar, and then you apply. So this is the reason why some of the calculations that we do in terms of calculating seal and the calculation that you have done manually differs, because sometimes here it's using the calendar of 30, but the working days over here are 22, or they are 26, or even 20. So, or maybe your database has got maybe the general workers, and you have sometimes they've got what do you call it? The gardener. Maybe he doesn't work every day. He's different from the general worker or from the cleaner, or because cleaning is done every day, but the gardener needs to do, maybe he's not on duty every day, or even a guard. They are not on duty every day. So it's important to go here and then you deactivate this use calendar so that you can use this, what do you call it, the days which are in the master file under the payrolls. That way it can calculate, and then your cash in lieu which you have done in manually and which is coming out in payday can tie up. Right. These are the 6 tips and tricks that I had. Are there any questions or any queries or anything that you would like to ask me?
Please, Nyasha, could I ask you one?
Yes.
Okay. You covered the gross up of any earnings.
Yes.
Now, before you would have had to create a code to gross up that earning. Does that still apply?
Yes, it still applies. I was just trying to show you how to activate it. If your database hasn't been grossed up before. So maybe I can just do an example to say if the database hasn't been activated before, like if you go on the reserved codes here and then we deactivate it over here, we say apply, right? We go to the codes, right? We create the new code for grossing up. Maybe we can take code 18 over here. Maybe we are trying to code to gross up the basic. We go over here. We say code 180018. It still applies. It's just that I didn't do it. I was just trying to show you how to activate the grossing up. You say text period normal. You say over here frequency is default. And then here we say basic, gross up, right? And then we take the taxable code as A, right? We pick it up, right? And then we say apply. So I close this tab, right? I go back in just to refresh it. We say N in descriptions, right? We go on the basic code over here. So if I try to pick code 18 over here where it says gross up over here, it's not picking up because the database is not
activated.
Is not activated. So we need to go here where it says utilities, and then you say the system defaults, and then we go here where it says reserved codes, and then you activate it over here, and then we say apply, right? And then we close it. So if we go back to the codes now, like this, and then you go on the basic pay. If you try to pick up the code 18, it's now working. You gross it up, and then we apply. So the moment you run a draft, the gross up code will come up automatically, right? Rather than punching in the gross up figure. So maybe I can just run a draft just for one person. You don't want the system to take long, right? We select the employee code, maybe 13. Okay, 0013. And then we say begin. Right, the pay calculation is complete. You say, okay, right. Right, we go here where it says maintenance, check pay slip. Right, we pick up number 13. Number 13. Right, as you can see over here, here's got 2 codes. Right, which month are we in? In the month of March. Okay, right. I picked up the wrong person, but here's the reason why. The database didn't gross up Shepard and those, what do you call it? Basic. because it doesn't have any tax to be paid. As you can see over here, there is no tax which is going to pay because of this elderly credit, and then there are many reasons. We can pick up, yes, got medical aid, as you can see over here, which is 3,980. So already it is disturbing the payee that he needs to receive. So the moment someone doesn't have any payee to pay, there is no need to gross up your pay because you're already receiving it as $100. You were given $100 and there is no tax that you are paying. So you're going to receive it as is. So there is no need to gross it up. But if there was, what do you call it? If Shepherd was going to receive any payee, there was going to come up a code 18 over here automatically, which was going to come up. Unfortunately, my laptop is taking too long. So yeah, I know you have little time that you came on the what do you call it, the Zoom meeting to attend to. So I don't want to waste many of your time. But if there was time, I would have rerun this, and then you would have seen that the gross up has been activated. Okay. Did I answer your question, Shireen?
Yes, yes, Nyasha. Thank you very much.
All right. Any other
Morning,
question?
Nyasha, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you, sir?
Fine, thanks, sir. Thank you for the presentation. We are learning.
All right.
Just one question. Confirm if you would want to gross up 2-3 allowances, we need to create 2-3 different codes as well to gross up. Say you want to gross up the pension allowance, the transport allowance, and the housing allowance.
Yes, you need to do that.
Okay.
Yes, you need to do that, but it depends with the instructions that you were given. Maybe they just want to see one gross up code. You understand? Like they don't want to see a payslip which has got many things. They just want to see just one gross up code, and that's that. Not to have many which is written transport, something like that. To you, it can work. It's an option as well to gross up each code using its own code to gross it up. Like let's say maybe it is the basic, and then you grossed up with code 18, and then maybe it is the transport, which is code 40, and then you use the gross up as code 45, and then you used housing as code 80, and then you grossed up with code 82. It can work. But for some, maybe they don't want a payslip which has got many things. They just want a neat payslip. So here's what you need to do. It's just an example, but what you asked can also apply.
Okay, thanks.
Right. So you go where it says codes over here. And then let's say it is this basic. We had picked it as code 18, right? Maybe it is this commission. We need to grow, it's already grossed up. All right, there it is, code 12 for commission over here. But maybe it is this, what do you call it? Consultancy over here, right? It is not grossed up, but we don't want many gross up codes to appear. So maybe you can just go back to this code 18, and then we remove to say maybe it is a gross up for basic only. We remove over here to say basic gross up. We apply over here. So if we go back to the if we go back to, I'm just refreshing, annual descriptions, and then we go back to pick consultants over here. We go here and then we just pick up this code 18 over here, and then we say apply. It means we are just going to use this one gross up code to gross up all of the things that you want to gross up. You understand?
All right. Yes.
Yes. So you don't want a payslip which has got many codes on it. Maybe you just want to see one gross up code to say all of our allowances and our basics have been grossed up with just one code, which we are going to use. So the amount is going to go up, depending on which codes you have used with this gross up code. So that's how you can gross it up using one code, or you can do the other way, like you said, you want each and maybe the employees want to see that their transport, their housing, their call has been grossed up. You can use many codes as you want, but this is another way of doing
this is quite smart. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any other question?
Yeah, Nyasha, although it sounds good to have one code for the gross up, does it not affect the audit by any chance, or the tax place? You know, the ZIMRA, to identify.
That's why I said it all depends with your organization. Maybe you know your audit team is they are nitpickers, or they have many questions. Maybe to avoid those questions, you can just create as many codes as you want to gross up as many allowances or codes that you want.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thanks, Nyasha.
All right.
Sorry, Nyasha, I'm going to ask a question, but it's got nothing to do with this at this stage.
Okay.
That you've covered. I saw an email come in with regards to the non-FDS.
Oh, yes. Yes, I was going to address that one at the end.
Oh, you were? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
All right. Any other question? All right. Maybe I can just address the question that Shireen just asked, and addressing Millicent Sunguro as well. In terms of the email that you can use to submit your ITF forms, depending on the region or the city which you are in, maybe that can depend with the liaison officer that you have in your region. I'm sure every company you have a liaison officer that can help you in terms of that, because maybe you want to submit it to here to this region in Harare, but you are in Chinoi or you are in Kadoma. It will take long for you to be addressed. So I'm sure you can contact your liaison officers who can help you on that, and then they can give you the correct emails that you need to use. Or if you have one, we will share it with you, right? And then in terms of Shireen's question, right, there is a new update, which is 211G, which was, what can we say? Which we need to share, which is the date of 16 March. So here is what this update needs to do. We know that some of our organizations, our customers have, maybe someone has left the organization, or you have engaged someone to a new post, or you are replacing someone on a post that was already there. So this update is addressing such kind of people, because according to ZIMRA, we as service providers, we are no longer allowed to give out credits to those people who are non-FDS. When I say non-FDS, it's those people who engaged during the year, especially starting from 1 March going onwards up to December. Those are non-FDS. Those who are FDS, meaning those who started with us from the start of the year, meaning anytime between January, you are FDS. So meaning those who are FDS are not affected, but those who are non-FDS are the ones which are being affected. They are no longer allowed to get any sort of credit, whether it's elderly credit, whether it's medical claim or medical credit, or whether it's blindness or receiving something for disability for their children. You are no longer allowed to dish out those for those who are non-FDS. So this update allows you to maybe you have forgotten. Someone has given you their tax claim to say, I received a shortfall and paid this, but you have punched it in. The system won't take it into effect. It will just tax you as normal with no credits. So in order for us to be in line with what Zimra is telling us to do, please get in touch with the support team so that you can receive. It's of no charge. We just want you to be up to date so that at the end of the year, the Zimra people won't be knocking at your door, or you won't be having any headaches with them, because we know that at the end of the year, they'll be telling you, you owe us this, and there is a penalty. We are trying to avoid that. So this is what this update is doing. For those who are non-FGS, they are not receiving any credits. And at the same time, NASA is their own new thing to say, maybe to just add up there. It's an SI which came up in 2024, I think. It's saying if you have any allowances which are above your basic, you need to tick for WCIF for those allowances as well. Because some people are running away or employers are running away from increasing the basic of the employee, but increasing their COLA, their housing, their transport, you name it, any allowance that you're being given. So it is above your basic. So you need to tick it for NASA. You need to tick it for WCIF. So if you haven't done that, please contact support as well. And on the tip on NASA as well, this update, when it comes to NASA, I think on their portal, if you are earning both, they are now saying we need to have the actuals in USD and the actuals in ZIG. So this update is allowing you, when you're about to extract from the EFTS over there, the NASA P4A, it's allowing you to extract both of your things. Let's say you have received a basic of 400 USD and then a ZIG of maybe 2000 USD, 2000 ZIG. So it will give you a NASA P4A, which is in 400 USD, and the NASA P4A, which is in 2000 ZIG. So this is what NASA also wants. So this updates allows you to do all of that. Any questions, or you want support team's email address or the phone number so that you can call?
Yeah, we'll just call the main number, isn't it?
Yes, the landline, which is 0242 75 110.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nyasha.
Welcome. Any other question?
Not from me.